Well, out on a late fall hike, I came across an area in the woods that looked like it had a lot of maples, but many were still hanging on to their leaves. So I looked a little more closely and realized that these are Norway maples. So this is another in the series I often do called Barking Up the Right Tree. Norway maples are not native. They were an introduced species into the landscape trade, and they often do overtake a wood. So in many areas, they're considered invasive. If we take a look at the leaves, at first glance, it might look similar to a sugar maple leaf, but it's really broad, much broader than a sugar maple leaf. And the buds, if we look closely, are kind of a swollen dark brown, whereas sugar maple buds, which are a maple that we often find growing near Norway maples in the woods, those buds on a sugar maple look like, they remind me of like a little upside down ice cream sugar cones, much more pointed, little lighter brown. So that's one way to tell the two apart. But the bark is also really diagnostic. Norway maples have this ridged brown bark, whereas sugar maples are grayer, more smooth, and often have kind of darker splotches on them here and there. So the bark is really, really different. Norway maples do hang on to their leaves much longer in the fall, and they leaf out earlier in the spring than our native maples. That allows them to outcompete our other native trees in the woods. And some botanists actually have done some studies and say that the Norway maples release toxins into the soil that also helps curtail competition from our native plants in the understory or even young trees that are trying to grow. One other interesting thing about maples, they all have opposite branching. So the branches come out opposite each other on larger branches, and the leaves also come out opposite each other. And that's true for all of our maples in the Great Lakes region. But the samaras, or the seeds on a Norway maple, are broader, wider spread than a sugar maple, for example, which is almost like an upside down U. So Norway maple samara wings come out almost exactly opposite each other, or 180 degrees apart. Another way to tell the two species apart. If you have a Crimson King maple in your yard, perhaps with deep burgundy leaves, that's a cultivar of Norway maple. And if you snap a Norway maple leaf in the summertime when it's still growing, it will exude milky sap, another great identification feature. Sometimes your maples might get black spots like this. That's called tar spot. It's a type of fungus. It's not harmful to the tree. It might look a little funky, but it's really not harmful. And many kinds of maples often get tar spot. No need to worry. In any case, if you notice a maple in the woods in late fall that is still holding on to its leaf, take a look more closely, because maybe it's a Norway maple. Remember, you can find your own outdoor elements when you visit area parks and natural areas. We'll see you soon.